two, one.
Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to episode 17 of the VR Inside podcast. This is a weekly VR, AR, and MR talk show that is live streamed every Saturday on Nathies YouTube channel. You can tune into the show live at 4 p.m. in Europe, 3 p.m. in the UK, and 9 a.m. in Central US. If you missed the podcast, you can catch up with it every Sunday, where I upload the whole show to my own YouTube channel, Virtual Reality Oasis. Or alternatively, you can check out the audio-only version, which is available on iTunes and Google Play Music. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback during the show, put them in the chat and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. So I'm going to introduce you guys to everyone in the room today. Some people say that he sleeps in a VR headset at night, and that is Nathie. Hey man, how you doing?
That's right. I mean, I once had to get the achievement in the gallery, so yeah, I did.
Is that the achievement? You have to sleep in your VR headset?
It is like you need to spend a couple of hours in VR, and the only way to do that is by sleeping, of course. It's a lot easier. And the last time I woke up in VR was in Out of Ammo, so I have been sleeping in VR before. Yes.
Nice, man, nice. So we have our reporter overseas. That is the RowdyGuy. How you doing, man? And where are you in the world right now?
I'm great. I'm currently in Houston, Texas. It's the first time I actually came here. Yeah, it's great. I'm celebrating Christmas here with my girlfriend's family and New Year's as well, and you know, enjoying that southern hospitality a little bit.
Nice, nice. You just need to say at some point, and back to the studio. That's what I want. That's what I want. And I think this guy has logged the most amount of hours in VR over this Christmas period, and that is Zimtok5. How you doing, mate?
Reporting in from the field. Yeah, it's been a great week, actually. The last time I did a VR Mega Stream week, it was really tough going. This time has just been really good. I was late for a couple of shows, and our poor desert bus didn't go as well as I'd hoped, but all in all, it's been a really fantastic holiday.
We'll definitely come to that in a minute. I'm intrigued about this desert bus story. So finally, last but not least, myself, the host of the show, the bearded bald guy, Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the best of VR in 2017, but also the worst of VR in 2017. And then finally, our predictions for what's going to happen in 2018. Before I get into that, though, I just want to hope that our viewers and listeners had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have a fantastic New Year. So let's roll into it then and just find out what everyone's been playing this week. So I don't know, I'll maybe start off with Rowdy because I don't know, he's been away all week, so I don't think he's been playing much. Is that right?
Actually, I haven't been able to play anything because I'm in another country, but the last thing I've played was, I think, Payday 2 with you guys.
Yeah, of course.
That video is still going to be released. And then what else did I play? Oh yeah, I played Desert Bus, but I think I mentioned that last time as well.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. just make sure you cut out the bit in the Payday video where there was a hostage on the floor and we said we was going to go quiet, and then I ended up shooting in the sky. That would be really, really helpful.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, very professional. Yeah.
Well, you know, I was taking a leaf out of Rowdy's book. You know, he wasn't rowdy enough, so I had to take a little bit of Rowdy on board. So let's go on to Nathie then. What have you been playing this week, dude? What have you been up to?
I mean, I also haven't been playing that much because, I mean, it was Christmas and you know, I played the KFC Escape Room. I also played a couple of roller coasters. And what I also played is, I'm now looking at my channel while I'm talking because I can't even remember anymore.
Let me ask you actually there, Nathie, on your titles. So on the roller coasters, like roller coasters for a lot of us were one of the first VR experiences because you remember back in the DK1, DK2 days. Yeah. Anything good out there that you've played?
I played Roller Coaster Legends. That was like a pretty polished roller coaster. Like those ones aren't really about the speed, but they are more about, hey, there's a jump scare. It's more like a haunted house mix of like, it's a theme ride where, you know, like.
Remember that one that we played? We both played that one. It was like also more like a horror roller coaster. I forgot the name of it. I'm gonna look it up.
Ghost Town Mine Ride?
I can't remember. Yeah, that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that one.
It's very good.
There was a mix of like a roller coaster and actual like walking around with a flashlight and looking for.
But there was some good jump scares in that one. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
It was very.
It got a little old after all. Like Ghost Ride, it's like overused. It's like crazy how many. But there are some crazy things in there. But yeah, really, I mean,
cool. And the ending is freaking weird. Yeah.
I also played Epic Roller Coasters. This is like one that is free. Like the first ride is free, and then you need to buy the rest. And I bought one for like $4 a ride. Took me around 5 minutes to finish. Now you could say like for $5 that's like expensive because I spent like 5 minutes having fun. But I was like, the developer spent so much more time on the surroundings and how the ride works, and it was even a physics-based one. That I'm like, but then for $4 it's fair. But I think like roller coasters have a hard time right now selling in VR because they are like pretty expensive for the minutes like play or watch time you get, you know. But Epic Roller Coasters is a multiplayer, so you could go from Oculus Home in there together with a friend. But the funny thing is, if I bought one of the rides, then Mike needs to buy it too. So it's like, okay, if you want to join, so yeah, I don't know.
I think
but
a hosting,
get people into a one, and then
I think the best.
Go on, Mike.
Go on, Sim. Go on.
All right, I was going to say that the hosting model for licensing, I think, is a really good way of promoting content. So in other words, if Nathie buys it, he can play it with any of his friends, but those friends can't start a game in that ride. So they can experience it, but they're like, oh, I now want to do that ride. It's Sunday. Nathie's not available. Maybe I'll go buy it. And I think that's actually a good way of almost making that DLC go viral to an extent. That's something that was piloted very early on by StarCraft. The original StarCraft allowed you to spawn a multiplayer copy where you could host a game. 7 of your friends who used the disc to spawn it in their house could join you, but couldn't start a game. And so that worked really well at like making that thing spread like wildfire. We need to see that in VR.
Yeah, but also a good pay model is, like Nathie said, the first episode is free, and then to unlock further content, you pay for it. And again, that's a smart way of doing it, I think, in my eyes. Same with Dispatch, right? The first episode was free. You want to know more of the story, you pay to unlock that. And yeah, I think it's a smart business model.
Let me say another one thing on that, Mike. The segmented DLC, after you go beyond 3 or 4 segments, really pisses me off. If you got like 8 pieces of DLC to buy, it's like, and no buy it all for some discounted price or something, like that's just a pain in the ass. I don't want to have to go through so much administrative work to get to the content. Let me pay the money and just buy a package.
No, but I mean, it works too. And I mean, there's so many games right now that haven't even been finished yet. And you can buy the first app, like Life is Strange was doing that.
Gallery.
You know, so I think that's a smart one. And in the end, if you don't like it, you paid half of the price, I hope. If they, like, at least if they make the price fair, then yes. But if they make it very expensive and you actually buy a game for even more money than it should cost, then... You know, but anyway, first of all, Zim, your mic is a little too loud. That's just a side information here. Funny thing is, if you want to get a roller coaster, the best one to get is not just one of these like 8-minute rides or 10-minute rides, because they are always really short. I would go for No Limits too. If you want to download your own rides from Disney, from Universal, whatever, and you want to ride them or even make your own and speed it up and do funny things with it, then I would go for No Limits too. It has like VR support, and it's been like 6 months ago I played it, I guess, but it worked fine in VR. It's a really beautiful game too, and there's so much more going on in there. So it's like a modded thing. So that's what I played.
The best roller coaster I've ever experienced in VR was actually with you guys in VR chat. So for those of you that don't know, in VR chat, you can actually go to a theme park and you can ride a roller coaster together. And that was one of the great experiences because I was actually with these guys and hearing their reactions to the roller coaster ride. They were screaming, I was screaming, and it was just, it was brilliant fun. So if you want to check out roller coaster for free, jump into VR chat and maybe check out one of theirs. But interesting that you tried the KFC experience, Nathie. So now do you know how to make the best Kentucky Fried Chicken? Do you know the secret recipe?
Yeah, I do. I did felt like I was a test monkey in there, you know. apparently it's an official gamified employee training thing.
Mm.
Maybe
it's a really
to
weird
get people.
experience.
Yeah, and it's kind of creepy and it's kind
Yeah.
of funny, but it's also kind of gross and it's kind of weird. So I don't really know. It's like I have the feeling it's bad advertisement, but it's also good advertisement. But it's an employee thing. I think it's just
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was debunked, Nathie. So that it's definitely an advertising thing. I saw several articles on it. I think Kotaku covered it, where they said this is like anyone who's worked in fast food knows this is not anything but an advertising stunt. You know, this is not actually how we go through the process.
But it's very like as a company who makes chicken. It's a very smart way to advertise your product. And we have seen that it's been there for a while now. With the DK1 and the DK2, you also had like product placement in VR games. You had one where there was wine and they showed you how to make wine, and you were flying through a factory with dwarves, and it was all very magical. And one where you fly through a fridge in a roller coaster. It was something from like, I don't know what kind of brand, but you were just flying through a fucking supermarket with like products everywhere. So, but I think like subtle advertisement is fine in a VR game. It's just, I don't really like it if you call it KFC the hard way or whatever. Don't try to like put it into my face, you know?
Yeah.
But overall was a fun escape room, just very easy, you know, not really a room skill experience or interaction wise. And again, this is what I need to say, like my hands, I couldn't point my hands. Like, why are all the developers, almost all the developers on Oculus Home, not using the hands to do things? Why can I not press a button with my finger? Why is it just my hand like this and then, okay, I pressed the button? I don't get almost every game. I'm not sure if you guys noticed this with Oculus Rift. Like at the start, we were like, oh, we got first contact and you can really push things.
Yeah, because that's one of
but
the things that I like most about touch is that you kind of have like a little bit of finger tracking.
Yeah, but they don't make use of it, and that's so weird. Like the flicking thing as well. Have you ever seen a game where you really need to flick something to solve a puzzle or really like switch, do the switch thing? No, like no. I don't know. It's disappointing a little bit.
It's control parity, I think.
It's a beautiful feature.
It's the API.
It's because they often want to like make the Oculus games maybe also like VIII compatible, and with VIII it maybe is a little bit harder with the controller to get finger tracking. Maybe that is the reason, or that they also want to bring it to like their Oculus Go headsets, or something that doesn't have finger tracking. Maybe it could be the Gear VR.
Yeah.
I
don't know, but it's
It's a good point.
I'll go into what I've been up to this week because I know Zim has got a ton of stuff to talk about. So first up, which is actually really interesting, is that I met up with Darshan Shankar, the creator of Big Screen, in Big Screen, because he's actually teamed up with Paramount Pictures to bring Top Gun 3D to Big Screen. So today and tomorrow, after the show, obviously, you just stick around and enjoy the show first, but maybe you can jump into Big Screen and check out a free viewing of Top Gun in 3D. And the most amazing thing is there are many times that the film is going to be starting throughout the day, so it's going to be a time that's going to suit you, and you can jump in there and experience the movie with other people in a big virtual cinema. And because it's the 3D version of the movie, you actually see it in 3D as well, so it's going to be very interesting indeed.
Like 3D version of Top Gun is like a movie from the 80s. What? Explain.
Yeah, so a few years back, they actually re-released it in 3D, and it was in IMAX. And then if you bought like the 3D Blu-ray, then you could watch it in 3D on your 3D screen. But the thing is that the movie didn't really take off in IMAX or on the 3D screens. But this is maybe a new lease of life for it in VR. So obviously, Darshan has been speaking to different movie studios, Paramount Pictures obviously being one of them, and they thought Top Gun 3D would be a good fit for its first test. Obviously, this is a free experience for everyone to check out, but in the future, they're going to be bringing more movies to the platform. Obviously, some you're going to have to pay for, so you can actually go and see the movie in 3D in a virtual cinema.
According to Paradise Decay, Top Gun 3D is US only.
Yeah.
That is right. So that is a good caveat, actually. Thanks, PD. It is in the US only right now. However, Darshan is talking about bringing it to Europe in 2018. So the way that they're planning it for the future, whereas, you're going to have this cinema experience, you meet up in the lobby, you can hear popcorn going off, you can see animated wallpaper,
I like
posters. animated movie posters, which are really nice, and then talk about the movie, and then actually go into the cinema together. And there's some really smart features. I don't know if they're fully implemented just yet, but Darshan was saying that, you know, no one's going to be able to ruin the movie experience for you, because they've integrated very smart tools, so you can only whisper. Yeah, like a troll system, so no one can jump in front of you, no one can shout over the movie. Everyone's
That's
kind
really
of
cool, actually.
toned down.
I really like that, because that was one of the reasons that I first got a VR headset. Because I mean, I've been always watching a lot of movies. I love watching movies. I don't like paying cinema prices though, so that was one of the first reasons why I got into like a VR headset, is because I wanted to get like that VR cinema. Of course, it wasn't that great back then when I first tried it, but I think one of the first apps that I bought was a VR cinema on my phone. That I then slid in the cardboard thing, and I actually watched movies through there. I've watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 3D, and in my Homido VR headset, and I've watched another 3D movie, but I forgot.
It works really well.
And
you can lay down and watch it.
Yeah, exactly. And from people that have tried it out on the Reddit, on the Oculus Reddit, the reports back are saying that the actual picture quality and the movie experiences were very, very good. There was a few problems with people like interfering, but that's because I don't think the full features of what I mentioned about the troll system hasn't maybe been fully implemented just yet. But you know, it's coming, and I'm pretty excited actually about the future of this, because, you know, say if they did like a one for Ready Player One, for example, right? Big VR movie that's coming out next year. And then maybe for a special version of it, you could have like a little talk with, you know, the people that were in the movie, or like Steven Spielberg, for example. You know, you could introduce the movie that way, and then you could introduce it to hundreds of thousands of people. You're not limited to the restrictions of the real world in terms of the physical cinema size, right? As many people as you want.
It's funny that you mentioned this. I also spoke to him, and good news is that they are maybe planning to bring big screen to mobile as well, so people can just check it out on mobile, and maybe like cross-platform. Cross-platform has not been confirmed, but I think they want to aim for that.
Smart.
And with like the 3D movies, I think they want to aim for like a subscription thing, because right now people are watching their movies, and if they are like once they bought or not, they are watching them together with some people, and I think they want to kind of like move away from that and make it like more in a controlled environment, where they say, okay, your friends and you can pay for the movie or a free one, because they also play free ones sometimes. I think most of them are going to be paid anyway, like free movies. That's kind of rare, to be honest, but you know, like almost every movie you need to pay for. But that's what they want to do. I like, again, they have not confirmed what I said here, where, you know, they want to move away from, but I think they do want to do that. They don't want people to spend hours. Yeah.
And it was interesting, you mentioned about mobile, like, you know, if I'm a betting man, big screen will be coming to the Oculus Go. Darshan tweeted something out over Christmas, and he had an Oculus Go in the wild in his picture. So he's got one, and I bet you he is going to be bringing big screen to the Oculus Go, and that'll be available.
It's an ideal platform for it. I mean, if you want to watch movies and stuff like that, I think something mobile would be ideal. I can see this being used in planes and everything. You know, replacing those little screens that you have on your seats.
Yeah, well, they're already doing that, right? In international flights, when we were flying to Oculus Connect, they actually had, I flew kind of a relatively cheap airline, and they didn't have any screens on the seats or anything. And it was basically, if you have a tablet or a phone or whatever, you can tap into this and watch the film. So all they had was a central distribution network for content. So you use they give you free Wi-Fi, which was awesome at whatever it was, 20,000 feet. And you can just, you know, watch your videos there. But you kind of need to have a battery pack. You need to have your smart device with you. That was pretty cool. On this video thing, I wanted to ask you guys if you've touched some of the historic stuff, like back in the DK2 days. Maybe Nathie would out of this group, but there was a cinema experience which you could have with old like movies and that. And there was a guy, not being able to remember his name. It wasn't the Hamido one that you've done, Rowdy. It was a title that you could play on the DK1 or the DK2. You'd go into a cinema. You'd go in. You could actually have things like popcorn, lightsabers, just kind of like a couple of items. And then in addition to that, there were some limited 4D experiences, which I found pretty cool. Like you could watch Michael Jackson's Thriller in 4D, and then you'd be sitting in this virtual cinema, so you feel like you're sitting in an IMAX or a movie theater. And then there's like smoke effects, and zombies jump up, and like it was really a kind of a cool experience. So I don't know if any of you guys have played with that stuff, but I thought it was really good, nice and social.
Did you do any Michael Jackson moves while you were in there? Grab
I
the
didn't
balls,
have
push
any.
around.
This was before touch controllers, right?
Yeah,
So what was it going to do with my head, right? I can't really grab my crotch with my face. It doesn't work so well.
No, but that was like Rift Max Theater, man. That's
like
it. Very, very old school. And they had like a bathroom where you could spend time in and mess around, you know. But yeah, that was cool. And they had like 3D effects. So you, for example, had like a deep sea movie, and there were like fish.
So wait a minute. They had a bathroom in there, so you're so drawn into the metaverse, you think you're in the bathroom, and then actually you're taking a whiz in your living room in real life. That's bad, man. That's bad. So yeah, so big screen is obviously one of the things I got to check out. The other funny thing I checked out over Christmas was I convinced my mother-in-law to try out the Rift. And the first thing I put her into was the little robot one, First Contact, right? So that was very nice and easy, very basic for her. But then I thought a little bit evil. I thought I'd put her into Richie's plank experience. So she jumped into the lift. And if you've not checked out Richie's plank experience, essentially you go into a lift and go to the top of a really tall skyscraper. And when the lift doors open, essentially it's just a wooden plank out in front of you. And this sheer drop, you can see traffic and stuff moving below you. And it's pretty terrifying if you're afraid of heights. And it was funny because as soon as the doors opened, she looked down and just went, nope. And then pushed the ground button again and went straight back down.
Didn't even do it. That's hilarious.
It was one of the first VR experiences my girlfriend did as well. And she also, like the first time, she was like trying to hold the door. Like when she was trying to like get on and step on the board, but she was like, no, it's not going to work. And then she fell, of course, off the board and she fell down all the way.
Oh yeah. So that was
really
funny. Cool. And then the last thing, which is a little bit VR related, is that Black Mirror just launched on Netflix. So Black Mirror Season 4 has just come out. If you haven't checked out Black Mirror and you're into tech and virtual reality, it is a program that you're probably going to dig. I do warn you, though, it is really about the dark side of technology. But essentially, Season 4 just started, and the first episode, called USS Callister, is basically like Star Trek Bridge Crew, but the super twisted evil version of it. And that's all I'll leave you with. But I would urge you to go and check it out. If you've got a Netflix subscription, go and check out Black Mirror Season 4. I'd highly recommend it. So
I mean, staying in the movie flow, we got a question from Firestar. What app do you guys think I should use for 360 videos?
I'll just say one thing. Depends on the kind of content you're going to be ingesting.
Honestly, I would say virtual desktop.
Yeah.
But that always works fine. So.
Yeah, I know that YouTube have released a application on Steam for VR content.
I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah,
they didn't tell me.
But right now, all you can do is watch 360 movies from YouTube itself. So you can't ingest your own video content, from what I can understand. But if you want to like ride a 360 roller coaster, you can do that through the YouTube VR app. But when I first tried it, there was very, very buggy. Actually, crashed a few times, had a lot of issues. I think they fixed those now. So that is a good way of viewing 360 content online. So say if you wanted to watch the It movie experience, for example, you could do that there. But say you wanted to download something and experience it in full definition, as I would say, then yeah, a virtual desktop is probably my favorite application to do that.
Yeah, and they are both available on Steam, as far as I know. So Mike, just in short, what do you think about the YouTube app? I haven't tried it myself yet, so I'm really curious.
The thing is with the YouTube VR application, it doesn't push VR forward in any way. It doesn't promote VR. It's just pushing 360 videos. Yeah. So, it's not really helping us. It's not really helping promote like the platforms like Oculus or HTC Vive or PSVR. It's not pushing that content any further forward. It's just focusing on 360 video. So in that sense, I'm very disappointed in it. And I think they should start looking at other ways to promote VR. Seems that this is the way they want to do it right now, but we shall see. Maybe things will improve in the future.
Okay.
I actually think my go-to for that answer, my go-to would be now Oculus Home, the Dash. Like I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't need a 360-degree video. I wouldn't necessarily need stereoscopic or a 3D image format for the video feed. I would actually be comfortable just sitting back in my chair in Oculus Dash, Oculus 2.0, which as most of you will know already is out in the beta branch for Oculus Home. You can make the screen massive. You can sit in your own virtual home and you can just enjoy a film. I mean, I would totally do that, but I haven't actually.
Can you experience 360 video in that application? I don't think you can.
No, that's what I'm saying. It would be flat. It would be flat but big. It's the same as sitting in a movie theater. You're not looking at a, you're just looking at a large screen. But the feeling is good.
I still like that though. A good 3D experience.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's right.
So let's move
one
on.
more, Mike.
Oh,
Can I have one more, please?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I got a green light here. This one is from Christopher, and this has nothing to do with movies. This is just a game, and I think Zim is going to like this. I can't wait for Wipeout Omega Collection VR update on PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Anything to say about that?
Damn it, that was on my list. I'll get back to it in a moment.
Okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay,
not you, Nathie. The other guy. He's in trouble.
I think we're all pretty excited about that, actually. If I had a PSVR, that would be definitely one on my list. I think I mentioned it in a previous episode that it was one of my favorite franchises growing up playing computer games. So I feel a bit gutted that I'm going to miss out on it because I don't own a PSVR right now. But you never know. I might invest in one.
Don't you have a birthday coming up or something, Mike?
Oh, well, maybe. Little treat. Although funny, this is a little side story. Sorry, guys, but I have to say this because I have to offload a little bit. I bought a 4K TV yesterday, and I was so excited to check it out. Right, so I spent hours setting it up and getting it all lined up and sorted. I was like, yeah, perfect. Turn the TV on. The thing's got a flicker. Like it flickers every 10 seconds. I'm like, I bought a faulty TV. So yeah, I'm pretty gutted right now.
No.
So and I can't fix it.
Can we hear the brand? What brand flickered?
So it's Panasonic. So I'm very surprised. Very surprised.
Okay, yeah, that's a dangerous. But I think that a PlayStation VR would actually fit on that beautiful egghead of yours. So.
Yeah, it would. It would. Very nice. Apparently, it's very comfortable, and I haven't actually tried one yet. So I would be very keen to try one out.
I got a crazy idea here before we move on. I wonder if anyone has thought about having two 4K TVs set up like this with telescopes coming back to the eyes. So it's basically Pimax just fucking huge.
Even bigger.
Pimax 2 confirmed.
That sounds like a cool idea for a video.
Yeah, you should do it.
Yeah. Are you gonna look around though?
Yeah, I don't know.
You have something set up.
It's just on rails. On rails. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm freaking rails! I love it.
You actually do that on video, man. That's crazy. Or you have a whole assistance team around you that turns it around.
Carrying it, yeah.
Also up and down too, where you sit in a chair and it's all
whoa! On that
at the space center for it, man. They could have built something like that for sure.
Doom on that setup. Oh, guys, quick! We got a 180. Go!
So come on,
the new Pimax.
Yeah.
That's it. Talking about the Pimax. You guys heard the news?
Yes, we did. And
we already knew this. Yeah, we already knew this, and I think it's okay, when they're delayed. It depends on how long. Also, they had some issues. I heard. I saw it on Reddit where they still had to figure out how to do the refresh rate in a way, right?
Yeah, so it's not kind of not quite at 90 hertz yet, but they're looking to make that happen for the consumer release. But yeah, we did predict that it was going to be pushed back, and but that's the kind of thing, that's how Kickstarter goes. It happened with the Rift, when that first announced as well, so there was no surprise there, really.
Could you guys recap, just for the benefit of the audience, okay, so what's the Pimax? When it was supposed to release? What's the delay?
Okay, so Pimax 8K was a Kickstarter. It's a VR headset. Obviously, it's got two 4K screens inside, which they've named the 8K, which is a little bit misleading, but it is what it is. It's a very wide headset. It's got a big 210-degree field of view. Oh. Your natural vision is actually 220 degrees, so it's going to fill your field of view pretty much with screen real estate. So that's very, very nice. It was a Kickstarter, obviously, which means you kind of fund it before it's released, a bit like the original Oculus Rift. But they said they were going to launch and be shipping these in sort of January, February time, but they've just announced that they're going to be pushing it back. They haven't specified when, but it's still going to be first quarter apparently. So there you have it. So what I'm interested to find out now is obviously what Zim has been playing, because I know this guy has had a super busy week. For those that don't know, he's had a VR mega stream session, right?
That's
Where
right.
you've been playing a crap ton of games. And like I said at the very introduction, he has definitely logged the most hours over the festive season out of anyone I know. So go ahead, Zim. Tell me all about what you've been up to.
All right, I got a list. I'll walk through what I've done, and then I'll give you some impressions about that. I suppose that makes sense. So first off, I started off with my favorite. You guys know that. That's Skyrim. So I did kind of 9 hours in that to kick us off last Sunday. That night we did Redout, which is a fast pace. So if you're a fan of Wipeout, if you're a fan of Zero, Redout, I think is a really undersold game. I don't know when it actually released. I think it was probably a 2016 title, not 2017. So it won't necessarily make our list later on. But don't miss that one if you're a fan of fast-paced stuff. It's gorgeous. It's fast and it hits 90 frames a second so well. It's just lovely. But don't blink. Orbis is maturing in a way that I didn't anticipate when I first dropped back into it. I thought actually this Splash, Orbis being VR's first proper MMO. So you go on quests, you link up with people, you got a team of maybe 5 people. We had 2 teams of 5 people going along together and taking down dragons and stuff like that. It was awesome. And so we played Orbis actually that day and on Tuesday. On Monday, I went back into the climb. Actually, probably the only video that I've ever had go proper viral where like my mom phoned me up and is like, honey, was the climb, because, well, they've got a lovely chalking animation. If you ever want to look that up, it's Zimtalk 5 and chalk, and you'll find the video. Right? What's that?
The price right now is like $10 for the climb.
Definitely worth it. I mean, the quality in it, like a lot of people, I know Reddit's favorite thing to say, it's a glorified ladder simulator, right? That's what people have said about it. But it really, when you look at it in 2D, you're like, it looks okay. But when you're in it and you're looking down at this like big drop below you, or when you're trying to jump between icebergs or, you know, parts of a canyon, it's a really good climbing sim. Like it really does a great job.
Immersive as well, because you have that one GIF where you see that one guy like climbing, and all of a sudden he starts leaning forward and he just falls flat on the ground. Like it's his first time trying to climb. That's how immersive the climb is.
It's beautiful.
Totally.
It's beautiful, and all the animals that are like, sometimes there's like a bird coming out of like a place, you're like, whoa, okay, and then you need to hold on, and it's really like, and the sounds as well, like the sound has been like, Crytek just knows how to do that, right?
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, gorgeous. And the other thing is as well, it really gives you, like when you get to the top and your character always gives a shout out like, woo, or something like that. It really is fantastic, and you get a lovely vista right around you, whereas you're kind of climbing in and out of things. There's dark bits. You got to check that game out. It's just so cool. So we did the climb, revisited that, and I went on to like the winter maps, which is all like they're literally bobbing icebergs like this, floating. Then there's like lava fields, and there's one bit where, is this a spoiler? Okay,
yeah.
Spoiler. Okay, you jump onto a propeller on a plane, and there's a wolf above you, and the propellers are moving, and you have to like climb on the propellers and then jump. It's nuts. Okay, done with the spoiler. You're safe now. And then I started playing Wilson's Heart. I had to play from scratch because for some reason my save file, which I'd saved, I was only maybe 2 hours in, but we started that from scratch. Wow, that game's really maturing for me. I won't say anything about it, but as a noir kind of piece, it's black and white. The whole thing is in black and white. That thing is a fucking weird game in a very good way. It does its thing. I enjoyed that game very well. Yeah, I haven't finished it yet, but what did you think, Mike, in the end? Like, if you had to rate it out of 10?
Yeah, if I had to rate it out of 10, I'd give it a solid sort of 7.5. Like, it was one of those games that had some really smart elements to it. Some of the puzzles were really, really satisfying. It had some really cool bits in it that I've never seen in any other VR game so far. I won't give anything away, but I would say there are some bits in it that are very frustrating, and particularly some of the boss fights. There was 2 boss fights that stand out in my mind that are very frustrating because they require certain things to be done, and if you miss it very, very slightly, like with a throw, for example, then you're going to be dead and you have to restart it again.
I know the one.
Or it's very repetitive and boring. But overall experience, it's a very nice experience, very creepy as well, with some really nice puzzles. So it's definitely one that I'd recommend to check out.
It's just that for me, like I really liked it too, and the story was great, and indeed what you said, like a lot of new, refreshing gameplay elements you like haven't seen before. Plus, you have no idea what's gonna happen next. Sometimes it's really time based, and you need to act fast, otherwise you're gonna be screwed. But the thing that was frustrating is the fact you need to teleport from one place to another. You always need to face a certain way.
Yeah.
And you see and you see the character, and it's like taking away the part where you can figure out for yourself what to do. There's always a hologram of a guy showing what he's going to do, and you need to do that too. So yeah, the teleporting mechanic, like you got a horror game and you get chased. You don't want to teleport away from something, you know? And for me, it was confusing that I couldn't interact with everything. So I could grab everything.
Yep.
I wasn't allowed to move as well. It was like a standing experience, not room scale. If I was going too far to the left or the right, a whole like black wall thing. But that's just the way you move in the game. But
the storytelling is great.
It is, yeah, and the characters look very like cartoony, realistic in a way, and like there's always like intense moments. There's never a moment where you're like, okay, now I'm safe, you know. I think it is
freaking scary. Yeah, I did find that the first time that I got to that like evil little bear. Holy heck, man!
Yeah. But it is very scary, but it's not scary in a way where like it's safe scary, you know.
Yeah. The intensity is.
Not that you like throw your headset off and say like, nope, I'm done with this, and you feel like, bye,
yeah.
Also, like just on a side note from what Nathie said about the teleporting mechanics, the great thing though is that if you do only have 2 sensors, this will work great with that.
That's true.
You know, you don't need 3 sensors to enjoy this experience, so that's kind of nice in a way.
Yeah, but it feels very kind of on rails. I think that the experience is a bit on rails, and
it is.
But I need to finish it because this is the problem with this week. I feel like I've gone and I've opened a bunch of presents, and I need to finish playing with all of them. But I like giving a kind of as a variety streamer. I like doing a whole bunch of things, not just Skyrim for the whole week. You know, because if I really wanted viewership, I'd just pump Skyrim. And if it was just me in my room on my own, I'd probably do that because I love that game. But Wilson's Heart is amazing. Desert Bus. So as many of you know, the plan was to do an 8-hour ride on Desert Bus and make it from point A to point B. Basically what you do in the game is it's straight road, utterly boring. You're on a bus, but now it's multiplayer, so you can have 3 other people join you in the back of the bus. You're the driver. They punch their tickets. They're on. You got a little music from the radio, and literally that's it. You're on the road, driving straight for 8 hours. And the idea was...
But that's right. It was going to be for 8 hours, right? That was the plan.
The game is probably the most unplayable VR experience that I've had. It is fucking horrible. I'll tell you this. This is how the game works. If this is the screen of the bus, and I'm for our audio listeners, I'm holding up what's a cloth, cleaning cloth for a thing. I'm gonna move it laterally, left and right. This is how their mechanism worked. For some reason, it's fucking my camera up. I'm gonna drop that now. Just imagine, it's like sliding a window left and right. That's the driving mechanism. So I turn left, the whole bus just shifts left, or the whole bus just shifts right. Plus, add to this the worst control scheme ever, where it just is always trying to pull you off the left side of the road. So you're literally trying to nudge it like this, like literally every 2 seconds. Plus, multiplayer, there's no way to just like join a lobby, like to join your friend. You have to just randomly join any person in the world who happens to be in the game at this time. My friends hopped through 17 different buses, of which I got one of them on board of mine. It was
playing this game.
I don't know who's playing this game. Who's playing this game? But there were random people. Even when I joined some random dude's bus, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Don't play this game. It's It's not that it was a bad game. I was ready for it to be terrible, for the driving to kind of not be great. It's not a driving simulator in the end of the day.
Also, did you try tilting your head? Because it does something really weird with like the textures, like they shift around.
Did not notice that.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, I tried making a 10-minute video of it because
you didn't
YouTube.
make that minutes.
I didn't get that far. I got
not even 8 minutes. Yeah, I watched it. But anyway, like going to the chat a bit here. So someone said that he really liked playing Superhot and Robinson this year. Superhot, great. Robinson too. Like controller wise, I mean, you guys heard the story from me. Like the implementation of that wasn't really, but still, Robinson itself is
awesome. Did they bring motion control support? Because as you know, like when you got into it, it shows you a motion controller, and then
yeah.
they didn't have support.
But they added that later on, so
They did.
it always looked like it was like built in there, but
On the PlayStation?
they never on the no. I don't think there's
only on the Oculus.
Only Oculus, and of course it works with the Vive too.
It's a joke.
But not PlayStation.
Literally, it shows the move controllers. It shows the move controllers in there.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it has motion controllers.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
If someone can confirm that, that would be nice, but I don't think so. Also, Christopher said that his it's a top 4. Interesting. On number 1, Moss, but that one isn't out yet. But okay, the demo was really promising. On number 2, Knockout League. It's a cool boxing game.
What platform?
It's a good workout.
Is that Vive?
Knockout League is it's
on
Vive
Steam
and Oculus. It's also on Oculus Home.
Right.
Sprint Factor is also not out yet. Maybe this is more like a wish list. And last but not least, this one doesn't exist yet. I kind of like it. It's a Drake's Fortune VI.
Yeah. Well, you have Tomb Raider. You can experience the Tomb Raider experience if you like.
Drake, I think it's gonna happen. I mean, PlayStation is pushing the borders right now, and the boundaries. It is gonna happen.
Yeah. So that kind of brings us on nicely then to our topic, which is like the best of VR in 2017, right? So we're just going to kind of go around the houses, find out what were your best experiences.
Mike, before we switch,
can
I just rattle off the other titles I played? Of course. I wasn't finished. We got to Tuesday. Sorry, there was a ton more, but I won't go into them. I'll just say them. So instead of Desert Bus, we swapped into Eve Valkyrie, which had a Christmas event on. I was actually really impressed with that, and they have hot ass, so hands-on throttle and stick templates and control schemes now, so it's very easy. I was like, thank you guys, finally a year and a half later you bring it in. Super impressed. Really good fun, but you kind of need to have someone show you the ropes. I'd say Valkyrie looks like it's easy to get into, but there's a lot of nuances to it. So that one, Skye World, which is like a strategy game where you spiral around a centerpiece. I'd say I'd put it on par with things like Dragonfront. It's like a proper strategy game. If you're into strategy and kind of slow, methodical strategy, that'd be for you.
I really
Fallout.
didn't like that game.
You really didn't like that game?
No.
Just wasn't exciting to you, or what did you not like about it?
I don't really know what it was, but when I tried it at OC4, it was the one that stood out to me the most as the one I didn't enjoy the most. I didn't think the mechanics of twisting the thing around was interesting or fun. Essentially, you've got a world that you can move around, and then I thought the gameplay mechanics of putting the cards down was ill thought out. Again, it wasn't as fun as it probably should be. Didn't feel like a Hearthstone throwing a card down. It didn't feel like that. So I was very disappointed in that title, but you know, I could see how it would float some people's boat, but unfortunately for me, I just didn't like it.
I'm with you on it. I think there's a lot of games, and this is a really important thing. You can have a game that looks fun, and when we get into our next section, I'll come back to this and I'll refer to this. But you can have games that look really fun, and when you play them, they're flat as cardboard. You know, they're just like, and I find that in VR, it's really funny because like what you look at isn't always what's fun. And sometimes it's the reverse as well. Like Pro Fishing is one of my favorite first VR titles on CV1. Was, you know, just a game where you go on a boat and you fish. Like that's that's boring, right? No, it's actually great fun.
I have that a lot in VR. There's like something that looks like, oh, it is kind of boring, but then you get into it like, wait, how did I just spend 1.5 hours doing this game? You know, like
yeah, exactly. And I'll just rattle the others quickly. So Fallout 4, Dead Effect 2, a huge surprise for me. Huge. The co-op in Dead Effect 2 is probably one of the best. I mean, I put it 2 or 3 slots under From Other Suns. Amazing. I have to show you guys that. It is really cool. Elite Dangerous again, hopped back in. Again, that game has matured a huge amount. We went and dropped onto a planet and ran around in dune buggies. Fucking awesome. Fun. Shooty Fruity, which I know some of you guys have covered as well, which is, I'd say, one of the most matured... wave shooters, right? If you want a wave shooter that, and it's actually hard. I don't think I could beat that game. That's freaking tough. Yeah. I went halfway through it and I'm kind of stuck there. We did From Other Suns again last night, trying to get. Oh, we got so fucking close. We've been trying to beat this game. I'm 50 hours into it, still can't beat it. My favorite multiplayer title. We did the PSVR demo disc 2 this morning. The Soulless Project, which I used to say I hated, and if you crack the first hour and a half in that, the game is really blossoming for me. Wow.
It's good. Because I played that title still when it was completely not optimized for VR. Because I reached out to him because I saw it was like one of the first like VR titles that got like support,
mouse.
with,
You
like,
get to move your
yeah,
thing.
it was like a little bit. But I played and I think I did even like 3 videos on it just because I enjoyed it so much, and like it felt like a real a real game that was really, you know, being ported to virtual reality, and I like that. And he was still saying, yeah, there's a lot of optimization still need to get done, but I really want to dive back into that one.
It was so bad when I first played it on DK2. I had to use console hacks that they had given me to teleport from point A to B to C in the levels, to then teleport and then explore a little bit. So I've played this game 4 different times. This is the first time I've had a positive experience with it. The storm system, I can't even. This is a game that actually I think it's going to end up. It was an avoid title for me. I think it's going to flip over to a must buy or something like that. It's really cool. I don't know. I'm holding out at the moment, but it's exciting me. And tonight we're going to be playing Assetto Corsa and Redout again as a kind of a racing evening. And so that was the VR Mega Stream Week. Lots of fun. Plenty of titles that I can now recommend now that I've done a little bit more time in. But Dead Effect 2 was probably the gem of the week. It looks like trash, but multiplayer is. And I don't mean multiplayer PvP. That's terrible. That is, get away from it. You play the single player. You do the first. This is really weird. You play the single player. You unlock the first 2 levels. You walk to the center hub that you've unlocked, and you can play co-op multiplayer with 3 people. So it's like From Other Suns in a way. And the model works really well. You've got guns like all different types of melee, and the game is really well developed. And it doesn't look great. But when you play it together and there's hordes of zombies coming at you, it's a little bit like Borderlands and Left 4 Dead had a child, and that child was in VR.
I get the impressions in that you spent more time in VR than you spent out of VR.
Yeah, true.
You are well and truly stuck in the rabbit hole right now. There's no going to be pushing you out of that hole.
Yeah.
So
but this was like, this were just the best things you played, or this is just what you played in the last week? Because
no, this was just the last week. Yeah, just the last week, Nate. This was our VR Mega Stream Week.
About the best games of 2017 yet.
No, not yet. I've still got that list.
So this is the kind of like the topic, and you can kind of brush across these, so you don't have to go into them in mega detail. Maybe we can discuss some points, but this is just kind of a list that I put together of, like, in my experience, was the best of 2017 in VR. So number 1 for me is VR Chat. I think it's one of those standout experiences. You've got to go and check it out. It's free, it's social, it's fun, and I think when it comes to mobile, it's going to blow up. Next one is Lone Echo, because I think that it was a standout title. I think it was graphically one of the most beautiful VR titles I've played. And as a bundle with Lone Echo and Echo Arena, I just thought it was really good value for money. Obviously, Echo Arena was free anyway, and they're going to be updating that again very shortly in the new year with Echo Combat, which is going to be very interesting. And let's see if maybe that'll kick off this kind of VR esports vibe that's got going on.
My question, I don't know if I'm wrong here. Didn't they feign that Echo Arena was going to be paid for, and then they're like, on the day they're like, oh, actually it's free? Did that happen?
Yes, I believe so. I don't think you have to pay for it still right now.
Yeah, but I thought that, like, they had said you'll be free until this date, and then on that date they're like, actually it's just free.
Yeah, I do remember them saying they were going to charge for it, but like right now it doesn't make any sense.
That's just scripted stuff, I guess. But it's a fun multiplayer.
So other highlights would be From Other Suns. Obviously, that was a standout title, like Zim says. Very nice co-op multiplayer. But on a sort of side note, I would say that going to OC4, meeting Zim, obviously was very nice. Starting this podcast with this group of people was also one of my highlights of the year. Maybe not so much Rowdy, but the other guys are cool. Obviously it was a big year for Oculus Touch as well, because I know Oculus Touch came out the previous year, but this was kind of the year where we kind of got to find out what it was capable of. Although, like Nathie said earlier, there is still some limitations and some developers aren't using it to its full potential. I thought that the Rift Core 2.0 update that came out recently with the new dash and the new home environments was a very nice update and a well-needed update, really, for Oculus to complete with the Steam VR home environments. But I think they've really nailed it, and I think they've actually succeeded and surpassed the Steam VR home environment, actually, in my mind. I also thought that the price drops for VR were great. So now we've got more people in VR than we ever have, which is fantastic. And then obviously the huge success of PSVR. I think that's great. And like you guys have said, it's really paving the way in terms of AAA VR games. And, you know, like you said, maybe we'll get some Drake's Fortune in VR in the near future. And then finally, another great thing from my point of view was the Void. So another great experience that you can have in VR, but obviously you have to go to these places where they host the Void, currently in London, California, and Florida. But they're doing Secrets of the Empire right now, a Star Wars VR experience, which is warehouse scale, which we've discussed previously, that I'm very excited to check out in the new year. So those are the kind of highlights for me in 2017, like a kind of brief run through. So I'd be intrigued to know what you guys have in your mind of what were the standout points for you.
Oh, this is something on a side note that's pretty cool to maybe mention, that the Oculus Reddit has just hit 100,000 subscribers.
Yes.
That's actually a good sign of the growth of VR.
Yeah.
And what I think is
more interesting discussions.
the community is booming right now, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And what I think is really neat as well is that we've come to a point now that I already noticed, like, oh, Mike didn't mention a few of the titles that I really like. So that means that there's like more titles to choose from, and that is like it's adhering to like different kinds of people. Since I was immediately thinking like, oh, where's Rec Room, for example? Rec Room is still a title for me that is like one of the most polished experience, and there's so many players on there. Also on PlayStation VR that are playing it. Resident Evil is another one of those titles. Fallout 4. There's so many titles that have come out actually this year that I actually really, really enjoyed. Prison Boss, yeah, of course. How can you forget that, Mike? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Nathie, what do you think are your sort of highlights of the year for you?
First of all, like platform-wise, PlayStation VR by far. Even that I didn't spend that much time with PlayStation VR, I know it's like it's killing it, and they have such strong advertisement going on. You know, like I did a poll on my channel asking people, "What did you buy?" You know, lots of people still didn't buy a headset. It's still like pretty expensive. But on the other side, a lot of people already own one, or they are planning to get one next year. I mean, most people that are going to buy a headset have a plan for when they are going to do it, right? It's not you just buy it out of nowhere. People want to have it for like months. So PlayStation VR was leading there, then Oculus, then Vive, and then some mixed reality headsets. So I think, yeah, killer platform PlayStation VR. For me, I don't really have a top 5 of games. Like every game had its own like unique elements that I would love to see merged together into one game, you know? So every game had something that was like new and refreshing. So for me, on number 1, of course, VR chat. I think that's like the beginning of the VR oasis in a way where, you know, people can be who they want to be. Everyone is like over there is pretty friendly, you know? So I think that's going to be a big thing that is going to push VR a lot, you know? And one that was surprising for me was the demo of Titanic, Honor and Glory, the new one, where they built the entire ship. They had like a dock, they had like a story,
it was
telling something very nicely made. I mean, I'm always like amazed by what they are doing, and it's free. So the demo is free, and they spent so much time on it. It's crazy. And then I made a video, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, of like a trailer. I did one last year as well, of like the best games in my opinion. And I can read the list. It's a top 100, so I will do it real fast, but then you will maybe have like, hey, I know that game, and oh yeah, that one. So I had to leave some games out, by the way. I wanted to keep it like tight and nice, because I had like a top 200, but I had to like make it a little smaller. Yes. Okay. So here we go. And some of these games are also based on the popularity of the community. So some games are sometimes not even that good, but they are just silly and weird, and you know. So okay, and this is not a top 100 in a way where the first one is the best one. It's just 100 games. Okay. So yeah, we got Skyrim, Lone Echo, Mage's Tale, Theseus, Melida, Archangel, Fallout 4 VR, Manifest 99. Google Blocks, Operation Apex, Robo Recall, Doom, VFR, Farpoint, Downward Spiral, From Other Suns, Dispatch, Xing The Land Beyond, a very nice underdog puzzle game. We got Resident Evil 7, Forgotten Chambers, Loco Dojo, Tales of Glory, and Titanic VR, Chocolate VR, Mario Kart Arcade GP was also very surprising for like arcades. It's not a game you can play at home. We got Dear Angelica, Coco VR, Mind Show, Luna Ancient Emulator, Voltron VR Chronicles, Dwingle, Pavlov, Gunheart, Radial G, Project Cars 2, Paperfill Panic, Garn, Asteroids, Giant Cup, Racket Fury, Table Tennis, Rick and Marty, Virtual Reality, Big Screen VR, The Red Stair, Echo Arena, Standout, Rec Room, Headmaster, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Bartender VR, Wilson's Heart, Star Wars, Droid Repair. We're almost done here. To the Top, VR Chat, Tiny Town, Sonic VR, The Invisible Hour, Hatsune Miku, VR Future Life. Very important to mention. Spark, Attack of the Bugs. Mike, it's in there, yes. LA Noir, Ultra Wings, Undead Development, Unnightly, Dead Effect. 2, Star Shelter. You forgot that one, Rowdy. Very important too, I guess.
Love
Star
that one.
Blood Arena, Breach It, Elevator to the Moon, Gnog, Facebook Spaces, The Float Experience, Dread Eye, Narcosis, Echo Grotto, Killing Floor, Incursion, Duck Season, Old Friend, Polybius, Tellus Principle, Orbis VR, Renji, Titanic Honor and Glory, Iron Wolf, Prison Boss, Miyubi, Just in Time, Stifled, Serious Sam 3, Run of Maiden, Shooty Fruity, and just 5 more. The Gallery Episode 2, Payday 2, Accounting VR, Accounting Plus, Megaton, Rainfall, and Mission ISS. And that's my top 100. So
Yeah, can you read the top 200 as well?
So how long was this video, Nathie? Because I've seen it, and
the video was
it's like,
so all these games are in there, and it's like 1.5 a minute.
It's a very nice video, actually. You should go and check it out. It's a very nice summary of all those games. It's very cool.
Those were the games, and it was a good year for VR. I still think 2016 had more, but still, like, we're getting there where ported VR games become a thing, and I mean, it was good. Yeah, I agree. So that's the list, guys.
Mic drop, done.
And if you watch the video on my channel, I got all the games in like a list in the description. So if you want to check out all the games, you can see the time codes and then maybe buy the game. So
very nice. So what about you, Zim? What was your highlights of 2017?
What is your top 100?
Yeah, I'm not. You guys know I'm more for brevity than long lists, but I think there's really only a couple of things I want to mention because when we were talking last week, I was thinking more, maybe instead of top, more things you probably missed. I don't know why my camera's doing a kind of funny thing here, but titles that I think people missed. Resident Evil 7's DLC was at the same quality level as the actual base game, but they were like different games. They're like different. Like there was a card game, there was a room escape. There was a survival game. And if you missed that and you have Resident Evil 7, which is a very popular game and highly award-winning, that's one to try. I think Psychonauts on PSVR as well was a really interesting, different title that I thought I wasn't going to like, and I quite liked a lot. And I think people will have missed that. That's by Tim Schafer, who's behind a whole bunch of different things. But I think that titles like that, there's a few things out there that are very easily missed. Another one that I had on my list this week and I didn't get to was the Invisible Hours, which is this amazing, like, I'll call it Time Lord-esque game where there's a murder mystery, and kind of like Clue or Cluedo, I think we mentioned this last week. You control time and you kind of go fast forward and rewind, and you can follow any character throughout this mansion and try to determine who the murder, well, you know who the murder victim was, but who actually did it. And it's a really interesting format that wouldn't work. It wouldn't work in 2D. It wouldn't work in cinema. It's just you need this format. So what we're starting to see in VR is like these like evolutionary genres that are coming out that I've played
a game like that.
Really keen on.
Way long ago. Also where you like an accident happened. I forgot the name of it. An accident happened and someone died, and you had to like by fast forwarding and rewinding time, you had to find out who killed him. And you could do that by like following the bullet, and then you saw where the bullet came from. But then it was like another event that triggered the gun. It was like it only took like maybe 15 minutes to find out who it was, but it was a very unique experience. And you were then
VR?
It was a demo. Huh?
Was it VR?
It was in VR, yeah, definitely. Huh. I did a video on it. I'll look it up for you while you guys are talking.
Okay.
Yeah. So looking at the chat, we got a very nice comments from Red Place, who says that he's subscribed to all of us. Thank you very much. You sure you want to stay subscribed to Rowdy, by the way? I mean,
he's on my Discord. He's a cool guy.
That's a joke. Chris Page says, I watch you all too. So that's nice. Thanks for the support. Zim also has like a YouTube channel now that he like uses for reviews and stuff. So if you haven't checked it out yet, Simtak 5 all the way. Did I just say Simtak 5? Simtak 5. Yes, I'm just.
You can say it whatever you want. There's some variants of my name which I won't allow. They have a C in there, but anyway, we'll stay away from those.
Oh, and we got just a comment coming in that people say that Windlands is also a very like good one. It's from 2016, I guess, or maybe even
earlier. Yeah. But I mean, there's
like official release. I mean, yeah, if we are talking about the actual when it came out, then yeah, that's a long time ago. But
if I had to choose one big surprise for me this year, I think it indeed would be a Star Shelter. I really enjoyed that one.
Did you finish that though, Rowdy? I got stuck. Like you got outside the station. I agree with you. Total cool indie title. Does things that other VR titles haven't done.
Yeah.
But when you get outside and you're trying to repair the thing and you got a meteor coming at you or whatever, what do you do then? Because I got stuck.
What do you mean you got stuck? Like you repair your ship? You know, you start like building expansions on your base. You start to make sure that you have enough oxygen. It's kind of like an endless simulator, basically. What you do is you scavenge and you repair and you build new modules and then you go back scavenging. I would compare it a little bit to like Subnautica, but then in space.
Interesting, yeah, because I got stuck without parts and not anything to do. I don't know. Maybe it was either bugged or I just
I did a couple of videos and did a live stream on it as well. Maybe check it out. It's a very fun experience.
So what you're saying, it's like it has like a satisfying progression system.
Yeah, I kind of like those kind of titles where, I mean, there's not a storyline. That is something that I usually like in a game, but they've done it in such a way that I keep like getting hooked to it. It's like, oh, if I get like 2 more of those parts and I can build this, and then I'll be safer with that. And then, oh wait, there's like a new thing that like, because like things pass by the entire time. You can like explore space stations and stuff like that, and to scavenge more. It's basically the only thing you're doing the entire time is scavenging and building stuff. But it's that, I don't know, it's that kind of feeling of that you're on your own and you need to try to figure it out. It's I don't know, it intrigues me. It did.
So that one should have like a multiplayer. Like, would you play that together with someone?
That would be amazing. Yeah.
This is a really good topic, though. Like surprises. I think the surprise for me wasn't a title so much as the call it loot boxes in Oculus Home. I'm freaking addicted to that. Like, play some games, come in, open your free stuff, take your furniture, put it in your house. I just want to keep doing that. It's ridiculous, but that came in very late. That was November, wasn't it, that it was released? And I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, it's nice.
What about you guys? What were your surprises, Mike? Did you have any surprises this year that kind of stood out to you? Something big?
So it kind of leads me on nicely because I wanted to also cover the things that we didn't like in 2017. So that kind of leads me on to a nice little segue.
You got to answer this though, Mike. You got to answer this.
I will. So the biggest surprise is in my worst of 2017, and that is Palmer leaving Oculus. It was a strange thing to happen, and I actually really like the guy. I know people have their conflicted opinions on him, but I liked him, and him leaving Oculus for me was a sad day because, for me, in my eyes, he's like the father of VR right now because he was the one. Without him, we wouldn't have been in the situation we're in right now. Yeah. And I actually got to meet the guy, as did you, Zim, at OC4. Really weird that he was there, but he was. And we got to listen to him for a little bit, take a picture with him.
On cryptocurrencies, nonetheless. He loves his cryptocurrencies.
Do what you will. But yeah, so that was my biggest surprise. But in the other sort of things I didn't like in 2017 was the Spider-Man VR experience. I was very disappointed with that. I thought it was a throwaway thing. It kind of led somewhere and got good and then got really bad. I just went to the cinema. Remember I told you before we started? We just went to the cinema. They advertised the VR Spider-Man game in the cinema.
What not like
the experience?
Like a day ago. We went to see Jumanji.
A day ago, but
I can't believe it.
They should have spent more money on the experience than advertising the experience. That's what I'll say. But and that's the same with Justice League VR, like another bad experience, but even worse than the fact that this one is you have to pay for it to play. Like it was just awful. And then obviously the tragic news that a guy has died in VR, that is also very bad. And I think Windows mixed reality was another big disappointment for me, purely because of, I feel like they've kind of confused a lot of people with their marketing and the branding of their products.
Well, I mean, they did bring out Halo to a VR headset.
That is true. That is true. So that they were my biggest disappointments of the year. So yeah, what about you guys? What was your biggest disappointment or surprise? You could have them both rolled into one.
Halo Recruit, biggest disappointment.
Yep, fair one.
Hands
definitely.
down.
Yeah.
Oh, so did you play an MR headset then, Rowdy? Because I didn't know you.
No, I just saw the video.
Oh.
You didn't need to. No, yeah.
I said mine was there was a game called Siren,
Yes.
who I met the devs for. I played in person.
Yep.
I played the game, and I could tell that my feedback that this is awful was a bit crushing to them, but it was awful. It was like this game. It had AI with like half-naked, like fish ladies stuck behind a door who were like clipping through the wall. Like it was supposed to be horror, and there were certain elements that were good, and the level looked kind of decent. But the whole thing together, it just was not ready.
Yeah.
It was
not
not
like my kind of thing.
It was not even for you, Rowdy. We could arrange a red dress lady appointment for you later. But
I
it was.
I found the title that I mentioned a few minutes ago. It's Quanero VR.
Oh, Quanero. I think I.
Yeah.
It's weird. I think I got a key for that and I never got it to work. But
yeah, that's the one that uses like the time forwarding, the time rewinding as well. You need to figure out what happened at the crime scene.
Okay. And then there was probably just one or two others to me that were disappointments. I don't know if they released I think some of them released December last year. Like there was a game on PSVR called How We Soar, where you're basically a bird and you're flying very slowly and you're painting a landscape or you're painting a castle or something like this by flying close to it. So it turns from being like black and white to colored in. So it's like a paint by numbers type thing where you're flying around in VR. But the fact that you have to respawn, the fact that your bird is so slow, the control scheme is poor, it just felt like a lot of people at the time were heralding it like, oh, this is such an artistic, expressionistic title. I couldn't say stay away from something further than that. It just is, what it shows is not what it delivers. It's just not a good game. And then probably the third one, because I like a bit of like trip hop and dance music and stuff like that. So Deadmau, I know they call him Deadmau, so I always call him Deadmau 5, but he had this experience which came out called Absolute. Deadmau 5, obviously a branded experience. It looked like a 1991 game. It was the most shite game. It was actually probably worth trying because it's free, just to see how terrible it is. It was
from this year.
Awful.
I think that was last year, but
I don't know. I played it in January, so yeah.
You had to move with your head and right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
it's awful.
You got those games, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
so that was me for this year, anyway.
Go on, Nathie. What were you disappointed in this year?
I mean, starting off with like mixed reality. I really like the headsets. I got two. I got an Acer one, and I got the Samsung. Honestly, I didn't do a video about it, but I did try them. I was very surprised. I like the Samsung one. The other ones are no, because I got way too many headsets here to even like. But I can see it be useful. It's just that, you know, price range with the Rift and Vive, it's kind of like, you know, it's all so close together. The thing I was disappointed in is the fact that they called it mixed reality. I still don't like it. I had to explain it so many times to so many people. It's not mixed reality. That's not how you call it. So the way they branded it, I was disappointed in. Okay, and also a Halo Recruit. What the actual heck was that? A big step back, a big joke, not cool. You know, not funny. People spent their time. Some people had their first experience in the freaking Halo Recruit thing. Also something I was disappointed about, and that's like something recent. So Fallout 4 VR came out, very nice. I was disappointed in the fact that HTC sold a bundle with Fallout to all the new people out there. Yeah. Not cool. Like, not done, in my opinion. Then you need quality control. If you sell a game with a Vive, then you need to at least care about what is going to happen when they go in there. And it was not optimized. So that was like a big letdown.
Yeah, totally agree.
Also, all the shovelware on Steam. Shout out to all those people.
Shovelware.
a top 100 of shovelware I could make one. I mean, you guys also, like, we played so many things where we were like 5 minutes in there, and then I was like, okay, yeah, bye, done. Yeah, last but not least, like the thing that was most surprising to me was I think like the whole AR thing, you know, where I could experience for the first time. It's not really VR, but I think that's like some next level stuff.
The HoloLens, you mean? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, yeah, I tried the HoloLens, and I think it's very exciting to see this like evolve, like next year as well. So that was the biggest surprise. But to be honest, there were so many disappointing things from like also locomotion, you know, where I've seen so many games where like, why did you, like, same with Doom, you know, just put the freaking options in there. There's still so many devs that don't do it.
Yeah.
They do, and I need to say it in every review I do. I sound so like whiny every time I do, but like, yeah. So there's a lot to learn, but there were also a lot of surprising things from like a part of VR game from Rockstar, where I was like, yeah, you're not gonna have a body, and you're not gonna have arms, and you're not gonna drive a car. That's not gonna happen. And then it happened. So some developers are really trying to figure things out now to make an actual game later on, you know. So I think that's very, very good news. So, yeah.
So what about you, Rowdy? Like anything disappointing you found this year?
No, I mean, I think most of the things were already highlighted there. I think the biggest disappointment was for me like Halo Recruit, because I mean, I'm a big Halo fan. I know people are saying, oh, but it's not the full game or whatever. I mean, it's the first impression you get from the game. And when I saw that, I was like,
yeah,
if this needs to sell mixed reality headsets, MR headsets from Windows, then count me out, because I don't think this is anything I would like to play.
Yeah, no,
that was
totally
a big
agree.
disappointment.
But it was also a trap, right? I mean, they trapped people. They trapped people to buy a mixed reality headset because there was Halo in VR.
Yeah. And then biggest surprises. Well, I already mentioned the game Star Shelter was for me a huge surprise. That it was actually that fun. And then the other surprise was the amount of quality VR titles we actually got this year, just in general. Like that we saw like bigger AAA companies actually jumping on the ship as well, and just, you know, to rock some VR out of there.
Yeah, the biggest surprise for me also was that you actually managed to escape your virtual prison.
Still don't know how I did that. Still don't know
incredible.
I got another cool topic though we can talk about really briefly. It's what are your like aspirations for like the coming year? Like, what do you hope for VR, or what do you hope for like your own channel, or
it's a really nice segue actually, because that's exactly what we're going to move on to, like our predictions for 2018 and what you want to come out of it. And I suppose first, there's a few things I want to mention, like standalone I think is going to be very important. So the Santa Cruz, hopefully we get to see it at Oculus Connect 5, which is generally sort of later on in the year, but I'm pretty excited about that. Mobile VR, so you've got the Oculus Go, you've got the Pico headset, you've got Lenovo Daydream bringing out a headset as well. So many people, Live Focus, are moving to the mobile platform, so that's going to be very interesting and exciting, I think. You've got the Pimax, obviously, that we've talked about earlier. You've got the Magic Leap 1, which we discussed on last week's episode, which is going to push AR much further forward in 2018. And of course, Ready Player One. I'm very excited about that as well.
Oh, and don't forget, I think that Steam VR controllers are going to make their, like, we're going to see something, I'm sure. There's something, and maybe Valve with their 3 games, but whatever.
Portal in VR, please.
Left 4 Dead in VR, please.
I don't know what they're gonna do, but I hope it's gonna be or something new or something a throwback to whatever. But
so what about you, Ralph?
That's a good lineup.
Me? What my aspirations are? Well, I would like 2018 to be the year that I become a full-time YouTuber, at least for a little while. I want to try and figure that one out. I want more VR titles that are really high quality. I would like to see AAA companies like Rockstar and all those like companies like jumping the ship as well. That'd be amazing. And for myself, I would like to like get my own room in which I do VR stuff. I don't know if that's already gonna happen in 2018, maybe 2019. But like a room that I can like really like separate myself. Will make it so much easier for me to record. And then I would like to use more peripherals as well. Like for example, I got a HOTAS and I still haven't actually played in VR with it. I want to buy like I got the exact same one. And then I would like to get like a driving wheel as well and do some more racing simulators and that kind of stuff. And just play more, basically.
Play more. Get it tattooed on your arm, a bit like Casey Neistat. Instead of work more, it's play more.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about you, Nathie? What are you looking forward to in 2018?
So, well, from my channel perspective, I would say, I mean, like 2016, also like 2007, I've been focusing on growing my channel, you know, and get more like getting taken serious by, you know, developers and stuff like that. I think that's going really well, you know, because like back in the days when I had DK1, DK2, you know, there wasn't really any interest in VR in a way where they could like put their game on my channel, or you got a product, you know, stuff like that. So I think I want to grow that. I also want to meet a lot more people. You know, I've been meeting with some peeps already, like Mike and then Rowdy too. You know, I've been to an Oculus party, and I spoke to Jason Rubin and to people from the film industry. And I mean, I've been speaking to a lot of people because I'm looking to more like inspire myself with like stories and things. You know, where it's like, hey, what can we do together? I also want to move a little bit away from only making videos, but doing more outside of that. You know, and if that's maybe making a game together with developers and see if we can make something really cool, you know, or by investing into a company, you know, whereas the developer is like, hey, I don't have that much money to make my game, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can support you. Let's make it happen, you know. So I'm trying to maybe get more into the VR industry than only being a YouTuber, and then really try to, you know, push VR forward. Also with locomotion, I think that like us together, we all have like a lot of like knowledge about locomotion that people really want to hear about. So yeah, I think that going to more development studios, talk to them how they can improve their game, and also tell them what maybe the standards are, the expectations of people that play VR. I think that's very important. But I think that for my channel, I don't know, like that's the thing, you know, it has been going very well. I don't want to be like that's something I want to like. I don't want, but I kind of am for in a way. I'm kind of like a flagship for VR, one of the, but I don't really want to be because I just want to do my own thing. You know, I've been doing my own thing for years now, and it's like, you know, I just want to let it loose. You know, where it's like, okay, Mike wants to watch Ready Player One in a cinema, and I just want to do it, and it's don't like think too much about it, you know. Like I'm not sure if you guys understand, like I'm one of the largest VR channels out there. I don't really have anyone to look up to, you know. So it's for me, it's like, okay, I just do my thing, and I think that's the best, and that's all. But whatever, that's just me rambling around in my brain, and for VR, I just hope, yeah, locomotion is gonna be like, there's some new locomotion coming out we haven't seen yet. Like we have seen the basic stuff, you know, with like the touchpad and the thumbsticks and stuff like that, but something new that no one has thought of, you know. And what Rowdy also said, like, you know, AAA games, you know, more maybe part of VR games. I don't think that's gonna be that bad for now to have, you know. So yeah, I think that's a good one. And of course, Oculus and VIII and all those companies out there support content creators. You know, it's very important. Like I have been lucky, and some other people, that, you know, if we need, let's say, a new controller because it's broken, or we want a new headset to check out, then we can, because we can show it up on the channel. But there are still a lot of content creators out there that still need to like buy their stuff, you know. And I think that people on YouTube have a very important role. You know, as I said before, we are the gatekeepers of VR, and that's a good role to have. So treat your content creators nicely. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Definitely agree with that. So what about you, Zim? What are you looking forward to in 2018?
2018, huh? I think that devs have had enough time with VR headsets now. It's time for them to break some stuff. I think it's time for them to break the mold, bring us things that we've never done before in any other platform. You know, I'm starting to see it out there, and I think that's something I'm super looking forward to. I'd love to see VR titles that have no menu systems, no interaction. You launch the game, and you're in that world, and there's nothing that tells you that you're not. You know, from start to finish, absolutely seamless VR experience, as in you've just stepped onto your holodeck and you're in there, and that world you can't discern from your current world. Like, that's what I want to see in a whole bunch of different channels. For myself, I think growing as a part of this team, something I think the four of us are, gotten a real nice kind of family vibe going here over the last couple of months, test bedding this. And I think that'll certainly bring to our mutual audiences and the greater good. I actually think that, something like this, having a dialogue on a regular basis, helps us each individually develop as people, and also help us find our own channels. Rowdy said it earlier, and I think it's really true that we've kind of seen this delta effect of just content spreading, and now you're seeing channelization. In other words, people are going to decide what they want to do or what they want to focus on, because it's going to go wider than one person can cover. And as being somebody who's currently spread across 3 headsets, you have to decide what horses you're going to back. And one of the things that I recently decided that I was going to back about 3-4 months ago was that we'd start doing some reviews, short reviews on YouTube, because I saw a real lack of kind of short videos that you can digest and just move on, instead of having to need to kind of skip through, because every Let's Play that I try is that. So the Should I Buy series that we just launched 2 weeks ago, I really want to deliver with that, and at the same time aim for Twitch partnership. To be honest, those are the kind of things that I'm trying to aim for, and where I think next year needs to go. Sorry, Rowdy.
Those are healthy ambitions. I think it's a very, very good thing.
Yeah.
I just think I think you have to ask yourself, right? And this is the same in any kind of entrepreneurial or business endeavor. It's like, what am I good at? What can I bring to this environment? And how do the thing I used to measure myself on, when I used to ask myself the question, if I died tomorrow, would I be happy? And the way I answer that question is, did I end with a net positive effect on the planet? And if you have, then I think, you can be happy on your deathbed or under a train or however you go, electrocuted by a malfunctioning PSVR, whichever way it happens.
I'm pretty sure the group of us can easily achieve those goals that we've all projected out for ourselves. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think this is going to be a big year for VR, AR, and MR. I think it's going to be a big year for everyone, and hopefully this will be the springboard for us to all move forward into the future. But I'm intrigued to hear what the chat has to say about what they're excited about in 2018. In terms of titles, in terms of hardware, is there any games that really stand out in their mind? There's a few games that for me really stand out that I'm looking forward to playing, like Brass Tactics, for example, Sprint Vector, Space Junkies, Windlands 2, for example. There's some really cool titles that not many people know about that are coming out in 2018 that are going to be some really cool titles.
Space Junkies, that is so good. If you love Unreal Tournament or Quake or something and you want to do that in space, that is such a good game. We got to play that, Mike. When that comes out, I want Deathmatch.
Made by Ubisoft as well, so it's going to be a very polished game.
I agree with Zim on the whole podcast thing. I mean, it's really good to have this. I feel like I need this from time to time. That's why I wanted to do a podcast to voice my opinion a little more. In videos it's kind of like scripted in a way. I mean, let's be honest. But with a podcast, it's more like open. I had my moments in all these episodes where I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but it kind of feels good in a way too, because it's more open, it's more, and we can discuss together, and then we can say like, okay, this sucked and this was good, and like in my opinion, this is like one of the best podcasts out there right now on YouTube. And it's
don't lie, you guys are all just doing just to talk to me, I know that's how this game goes.
It's just the hair, Rowdy. I can't stop myself.
Hair, man,
No, but it does feel like a family in a way, and it's good to have different opinions about things, and also have like developers on there. I had developers on here where we were like, I really felt like a connection, and we had such a good like conversation in a way. So like next year we're gonna bring you guys a lot more like guests, and not just some casual devs, but also some next level stuff where you would be like, how did these guys even get this person on this weird podcast?
Yeah,
but, more rowdy.
No, what Nathie said is true. There's a lot of stuff that we're kind of working on in the background that I can't give you too much information about, but definitely moving forward in 2018, this podcast is going to be something really, really special. I think
it feels kind of like the tested podcast where it's still untitled and it's more like a testing thing. I mean, like we have done so many episodes, but for me it still feels like, okay, you know, we recently changed our layout. I hope you guys like it, but also the way, you know, we use things and we show off things, and we're still like improving in a way. So for us it's more like a testing thing as well, you know. Still I think yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
And you know, we're always open for feedback, so if you got any, you know, you can always tweet us. The links are in the description below.
I gotta say, on chat, there's a comment that's standing out to me that I love the answer for, and I support this as someone who's got a wife who's a developer. Absol says, "We'll release my first game on PSVR in 2018, I think, and was a really big jump as an indie dev." Like, if you are a developer in VR, I just want to say, for 2017, for 2016, for all the years that came before and all the years to come, like, if you're a dev, if you're actually creating content, and what I mean, not like these content creators, I mean, if you're making games, if you're making experiences, and you're taking the risk to put yourself financially or put your time into that in a heavy way, thank you. Because we benefit for that.
That's true.
Yeah, I totally agree. So unless we've got any other questions from the chat, I'm going to wrap this episode up. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Obviously, it's kind of been a bit of a summary, a bit of like an open forum about like titles that we've enjoyed, things we've not enjoyed so much, and some predictions for 2018. It's not really structured this episode. It's kind of like a free-for-all, which, you know, I hope you guys enjoy. You know, we'll see what happens on the next episode in the new year. Obviously, I want to wish you all, our listeners and viewers, a happy new year. I hope you have a great time with your friends and families. And we'll all see you in the new year in VR as well. So any questions, or we'll wrap this one up?
Yeah, we can just wait a few more minutes here to see if anything pops up. So yeah, if you got any crazy comments, or
I'll ask you guys a question here, which is, what are your plans for ringing in the new year?
So I'm gonna ring in the new year how I plan to spend the rest of the year, and that's probably editing videos.
Curtains closed.
Yeah.
VR headset on in the corner. Hello, welcome to a new video. You hear some fireworks in the background, but I don't care. You know, I need to make more videos.
Exactly. Like, you know, I really want to double down on like on working on the channel, like you guys have said as well. You know, I've got some plans of my own to sort of bring a different type of content to the channel, something different for me anyway. And that is short, concise reviews as well. So I'm going to be working on that in the new year. So yeah, that's how I plan to spend my new year, is going to be working to make the best content I can.
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome.
Rowdy?
I'm going to be celebrating in Houston together with my girlfriend's family. It's the first time that I'm here, so it's going to be fun. We're going to be probably eating a lot, not a lot of VR because I'm nowhere near a VR headset, but yeah, I love some good food, so you'll be fine.
The fireworks.
Good man. Yeah, Nathie, didn't you?
Houston, we got a rowdy problem.
Yeah.
Nathie, did you have fireworks or something you're firing off?
No, yeah, we got like a crazy YouTube party going on here. I'm gonna celebrate with a couple of my friends. You know, I think like I've been very lucky this year. You know, I've done so many things I've never done before. I lived a bit. And it's time to, you know, pop the champagne bottle together with some of my YouTube colleagues, some of my just friends, you know, like just friends. Okay, you're a YouTuber, you're just friends. No, but you get my point. But yeah, we bought some fireworks. Where maybe like everyone has some crazy ideas. Usually when you get fireworks, it starts to get a little dangerous. Always wear your glasses, by the way, if you do some fireworks. Just saying. I know I sound very like
very responsible.
If you got one eye and you do some VR, it works, by the way. You know, someone has like one eye, but still, like, you know, you want to have two eyes. That's very nice. And also hands, of course. So yeah, we're gonna shoot some fireworks. We got a lot of candy. It's crazy. Like I bought, like, you want to know, like I bought for $200 of like candy.
Wow. $200
like,
worth of candy.
You never gonna all eat it, but yeah.
It lost you a year.
Yeah, I know. That's right. So that's why I bought it. It's very,
just
like
nice. Just be careful.
That's very good.
So we know what Zim's doing for New Year. He's going to eat that whole Toblerone live on stream.
Yep.
Is this just a fake one? Is this a
prop
or
no? It's real. Like... And unfortunately, the truth behind this one is it was behind a So this is a 4.5 kilogram bar of chocolate. It could stop a car. And trust me, the chunks of chocolate were literally like triangles like this. You had to like gnaw on them. You know, you gnaw on chocolate. This is disgusting. If you gnaw on chocolate and you leave it and the saliva kind of hardens on it, and then you go back gnawing it again 2 days later, like that's what this was all about. And the thing I would say is, with that much Toblerone injected into obviously my molars, the back teeth, one of my teeth broke, and it cost me $2,000 to repair it and get it all fixed up. But just don't do that. Wow. Learn from Zim. Yeah. Stay away from the giant chocolate bar.
So not only are we delivering you quality VR news, we're also giving you life advice here. Don't play with fireworks and be careful eating chocolate. So I think that will round up today's episode. So just a reminder, obviously, it is a weekly AR, VR, and MR talk show that is live streamed every Saturday on Nathie's YouTube channel. You can tune into the show live at 4 p.m. in Europe, 3 p.m. in the UK, 9 a.m. in Central US. If you missed the podcast, check out the upload, which I do every Sunday on my own virtual reality YouTube channel, Virtual Reality Oasis, or check out the audio-only version, which is available on Google Play Music and on iTunes. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we shall see you in the new year.
And happy holidays!
Happy New Year!
Bye.